Hi, welcome to our fall conference that's online this year. My name is Mandy DeWitt, and I am from South Dakota, and I am presenting to you 5 days, 5 themes, in 5 minutes. Basically, this is how I start my high school Art 1 classes every day. You could adjust this and use this for whatever age level and whatever classes you'd like, but this is how I start my day. And just to let you know, I have borrowed most of these ideas from a variety of sources. So while they're not all mine, and I can't remember everybody to give credit to, I want everybody that has given me these ideas to know that I am taking them and that I'm also in some way have modified them to my needs. And I'm hoping you will take them and modify them to your classes as well. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks. And basically, these need to be 5 minutes or less. You want it to be something at the very beginning of class, grab the kids' attention, keep them interested, something relevant, like I'm saying there, that they're working on at the time. And once this routine is established, kids will come in and expect this to happen every day. My kids were great at it. And so far this year, they have been wonderful and receptive to what we're doing. So how I start my week is I start with something called Museum Monday. This is where I introduce them to a new artist. I will make a Google Sheet where I give them at least 2 works of art. I try to fit 4 per page, and I print them off in our school's color printer. Then I cut them out, and each kid glues those 2 pictures into their sketchbook, and then I will have some information on the board where they go and I try to give, like I'm saying there, a fun fact, something memorable. Perhaps we have a short video. I'll have the titles of the work if I have that, maybe the years, what styles they worked with, what mediums they worked with. I try to find as much about the artist as I can so that the kids feel like they are getting some background information, but at the same time, don't you do a ton. This should be something that they can write really fast. Even my special ed kids can usually it's very brief information, but just enough so that they have some idea about the artist. Here's a list of my museum artists that I used last year, and I can tell you that I have already added 2 to this list that I have done this year. This is obviously very fluid. Make the changes, do what you need, whatever works for you at the time, and find some fun artists. The kids seem to love the contemporary artists more. So my recommendation would be follow artists on Instagram or Facebook, different groups where you can find some more artists. I love like a certain Sunday morning, the CBS Sunday morning show where they do a lot of different things, but they'll find some great artists there. Find wherever you can to get some great artist resources that'll keep the kids interested and relevant to what you're doing at the same time. Okay? Then I go to on Tuesdays, we do something called Technique Tuesday, where we try to learn something new. So this is when you get to show off fun tips, tricks that you don't normally teach. So I might do my normal painting stuff, but maybe I don't have time to slip in, a lot, adding crackle paste or something else, some modeling paste or something to regular acrylic paint. Well, on Technique Tuesday, then I just do a small demo that the kids can take or they can leave it if they don't want to use it. That's perfectly fine. So that just gives them a wider range of things that they can do and use. Here's kind of my list of some other fun things that, again, you probably don't teach every day, but in 5 minutes you could do a little tiny demo of it, and that would give the kids more options of more things they could do for projects. Wacky Wednesday, Wordy Wednesday, Work on Wednesday. I've done all of these. It depends on what you need, where you're going. So Wacky Wednesday is kind of where I'm at this year because we've switched to a 4-day school week. So I will usually show an artist style technique that is way out there and could not that most of the time the kids couldn't do, but sometimes there's parts of it they could do. So for instance, I showed the Cathedral of Junk today. If you YouTube video it, you can find it. And it was one of those things that it was just kind of fascinating, but probably something that the kids will not actually create here, but just showing them another way art could be made. Wordy Wednesday is something I have done when we do need to get some vocab terms in. Call it Wordy Wednesday, so then they know to pull out their sketchbooks that day and go through some vocab. We're going to get some different things done that way. So if they're working on a project, maybe I've shown in the past artists that are overcoming something. There's a great YouTube video. It's a little longer than 5 minutes, but I only show part of it where they show artists who did their original drawings a couple of years ago, and now they've come back and they're showing how they've improved just by working at it. So sometimes that's great for kids to see that while they might not have 100% talent now, they just need to work at it and they could get there. Thursdays, I do Thoughtful Thursdays. So as I say there, my students' least favorite, but I think it's the most important. It's one where they have that purpose to sit and reflect on their art, their ideas. What have they done? Where are they going? What have they created this week? What have others in the class created? Sometimes they are in such their own little world, they don't always see what everybody else is doing. This is some of the ways I've done it. Groups, I know in COVID, that might be depending on your school, but 2 to 3 minutes, and maybe they just meet through something, but simple questions that I put up there so that they have something to talk to each other about. They know what they're doing. Explain what you're doing. Why did you use that there? So for instance, why did you paint the sky blue? I also like the question, have you ever thought about, so what if you painted a sunset instead of the sky blue? Did you think of adding the dog to this, or a person or something? It gets them thinking about their art piece and how they could do each other's and stuff like that. What have you struggled with? Sometimes they can give each other the best tips as far as, well, just to let you know, if you're going to do this, this doesn't work well in this way. And they teach each other and give each other those tips and tricks so that the other person can have an easier project. So, and what technique could you teach me? Again, same kind of that thing as what have you struggled with, but just teaching each other and showing what they've learned. So, but there's all sorts of ways you could do Thoughtful Thursday. These are just kind of some of the ways I've done it. Here's a little bit more. So set out all the works and then give the students 2 Post-it notes, and they have to leave messages. Again, I try to tell them that they have to leave 2 sentences, and then they have to find they can only leave 2 per work of art, so that way everybody at least gets 2. Meditation day. So I actually picked this up when I went to National Convention. Somebody else was telling me that they do meditation to start at the beginning of their class. I thought it would be an amazing thing. I tried this once, and I probably needed to do it more, but my kids, it just didn't work. They thought it was ridiculous, and I know if I did it more, maybe they would be into it. It just didn't work for my crew. If it works for yours, great. I think it would be a wonderful thing to help kids kind of reflect and think about their art before they get started, but it just didn't work for us. But good luck. I hope it works for you. And again, maybe a journal entry. They don't always have to. They could be on a Google Doc. And that was more my thought. If we switch to online learning, right now we are face-to-face, but if we are online, I probably will have them do a Google entry telling me in the middle of their project what they're thinking about that day or how their projects are going and their stuff like that. Freaky Friday. So this is similar to Wacky Wednesday. Like I said, we have gone to a 4-day school week, so I don't have the advantage of doing this one on Friday anymore, except a couple of Fridays. But here are some great artists. I'll just leave this up here for a moment. If you want some Wacky Wednesday, Freaky Friday, however you want to word it, artists, these are some fun ones that work well for the kids. Eric Centino is a scribble artist. I really like his work. It's something fun and different, and it's not super serious, but at the same time, you can really see the picture when it comes out. The toothpick sculptor, I can't think of his name, and if I pulled up the YouTube video, I think it's on there, but he has spent like 40 years building a scale model practically, or a model of San Francisco, and he can drop ping pong balls and it travels through it, and it's kind of a really interesting thing. So if you're working on sculpture, that'd be a great one. Day of the Dead, he's a photographer, but then they kind of also paint, and other people paint him and stuff like that. But he does with smoke balls, and he's got these cool masks, if nothing else, that somebody could try to recreate. The Rock Balancer, this was probably as close to meditation as I could get, but we were talking about nature and different things, and so that was a fun one. One of the artists that I have found on Instagram is Create Artifacts, and he's actually just changing his style a little bit, but that's a really fun, and I've had kids actually try his technique, and it is challenging, but they kind of have some fun playing with it. So these are some great artists. I'm sure you can find more. This was just a quick snapshot here. So that's where I'm ending. That's how I start the first 5 minutes of all of my classes. I hope I have helped you out in some way, and enjoy the rest of the convention.